everybody, it's Bryan, and you are listening to the Course Building Secrets podcast. Whether you're a coach or a CEO, the success of your team and clients is based on your ability to deliver a consistent experience and guide them on the fastest path to results. This podcast will give you practical, real-life tips that you can use today to build your online experiences that get results and create raving fans. Why? So you can monetize your expertise and serve more people without adding more time or team to your business. If you're looking to uncover your $1 million framework, package it, and use it to scale, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hey everybody, so this is another tactical episode. So I was listening to someone speak yesterday, and it was fascinating to me. He was talking about writing a book. And he spent, countless hours already writing the book and really focused on how he wanted to get his message across, how he wanted to teach it, and the clarity behind sort of the steps. So his goal is, I want to write a book that helps people make money with what I am, the information I'm providing in the book. So that was very clear. Like, here's the topic. Here's the goal. The goal is not that I'm just giving people information, but they can use the information to directly earn more money, right? So he had a very clear result, very clear transformation. And one of the things I thought was fascinating is he said, it's taken me so much time to perfect the frameworks that I'm teaching or creating in the book. So often I think that when we start building a course or a book or a program or whatever it is, we think about the topics we want to teach, like the information that we want to teach. We don't actually think about how the specific steps within each thing and how it helps build onto each other so you can get to that transformation. And so I loved it when he said that, because that's exactly where we start. When I'm helping my clients or when we're, doing our agency work, we're not starting with topics. We're not starting with what information do I want to give to people. What we're starting with is like, what are the key frameworks, the key process steps, if you will, if framework doesn't make sense to you, like, what are the key steps that somebody has to take to achieve the thing that we want to teach? And that becomes then the path forward as you're writing, as you're creating, as you're packaging, whatever it is that you're doing is, if you have a step and you have a step that you want somebody to go through, there's a key sort of approach or process that you would walk them through so they could actually achieve that particular step. And so that's your framework, your, specific proprietary framework for how you have, conceptualized the steps for doing that. And that's what you do first, instead of here are all the topics that I want to share with somebody. And so I love that he said that. It keeps resonating with me, as to the actual difference that it makes in the sense of how you're putting something together. If you're putting something together to say, here are the 5 steps that you need to take in this particular part of the process, then somebody could take those steps, get the results, and then keep moving forward. If you're saying, here are the topics, or here's the information that I want to cover in this particular step, that's not action focused, right? That's only like giving them something that they can, oh, well, that's really interesting, or that concept makes sense. But there's a disconnect between the concept and the action. And so a framework is what bridges that gap. And so the next time that you're sitting down to create something, or, you want to write your book for the first time, think in terms of frameworks, not in terms of topics or chapters, and see what that does for you, because it will transform your ability to not just have something that's out there, but have something that people are, buying and consuming like crazy, because there's a solid, fast, clear path for how somebody needs to move through the process. And you probably have had experience with this in the past where you've taken a course or somebody has helped you, and it's a lot of information, a lot of concepts. And maybe they say, hey, yeah, do you get that? Like, here's a quiz, right? Like those are always my favorite. Like, here's a, multiple choice question. Did you understand or did you retain the information that I gave you? And, there's got to be a purpose for that information. There's got to be a purpose why I have to remember it, why I have to memorize it. And if there's not a purpose, then there's no point in doing it, right? And that's where that shift comes into play, is if there's a clear framework, there's a clear path, there's a clear sort of, place to take action, then what happens is you're able to do it. I'm working with a client right now who is teaching people how to get purchase their first investment property, turnkey investment property. And it's a great course. He has created a very tactical, do this and then do this and then do this. But the trap he's falling into is he wants to share so much information. He wants to share, all of the things. This is how it compares to this thing, and that's how it compares to that thing, and this is why this is thing, and you maybe look at this and maybe look at that. And so that's the tendency is you want to give information to be helpful. But what that does is it distracts from the action you want them to take. And so having, a clear framework to say, here is how you, one of the steps is to do a termite inspection. It's a very small step, but one of the steps. So instead of saying, here are all the potential things that you could do around a termite inspection, it's like, okay, here is your worksheet. Here's what you do. The first thing that you do is you need to call the inspector. Second thing you do is, and I'm just making these up, but the first thing you do is call the inspector. The second thing that you do is, review the results and what happens when you have termites. What do you do in that situation? Or if you don't, great, you're ready to move on, right? Small example, but the framework is, you have determined that this is potential property. You have to do an inspection, so you have to call somebody to come in and do it. Maybe you have to be on site, maybe you don't, whatever the rules are around that. And then what do you do if there is a problem? What do you do if there's not a problem? And move forward. That's all somebody needs in order to complete that step. They don't need to know about termites. They don't even need to know what they look like. They don't need to know, what termites do, other than that, intuitively, that they're destructive, right? They don't need to know, the number of they don't need to know all those details. They may be interested in those details later, but in order to achieve that particular step, they just have to do the things that they need to do to cross that off of the list. So don't feel like you have to over-engineer it, you have to overcomplicate it because you're teaching something. All you need to do is say, this is a step. Here are the 4 things you need to do. Here's a worksheet or a way for you to track it, or some sort of cheat sheet or whatever it is that you use if you're doing this, right? This is what I use. This is what has been successful for me. It's part of a bigger packet. Cross these things off your list and move on, right? It's a small step. Doesn't need to take more effort than it is in the bigger set of steps. But there's a framework for that. And so often people skip the framework and just talk about the thing and assume that people know the framework. And so this is a key piece in really even before you get started, is you can get all the topics and all the kind of ideas you have out of your head into a lot of times I recommend doing a post-it note exercise, right? Like get it all out, get your topics out. But then within each of the topics is a step, right? Within each of the pieces, there's a step. And so blow out that step. What are the mini steps? What's the framework? What's the process? Whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. But whatever makes more sense to you in terms of those terms, do the step by step, put something together that helps them actually, do the thing. And then that's all you need. And then as people grow, as people get deeper into getting, sort of the depth of understanding, then you can take them into the details. Then you can talk to them about all the things. But they just have to get through that first piece and get to that result. And so often it's just being very clear about how you get there. All right, there you go. That is my course building tip for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. The best thing you can do is to take action on an idea or tip that resonated with you. To help you take action, I have a free gift for you that you can download in the show notes. During each episode, we publish an action plan worksheet and other helpful takeaways from our speakers in the Course Building Secrets Creators Lab. To register for free, click on the link in the show notes. Enjoy.
Hey everybody, are you a business owner ready to streamline and scale your business? Imagine solving the biggest business challenges with clarity, a strategy, and a clear plan. Hey, I'm Bryan, and I want to invite you to take the first step towards transforming your business with a free 30-minute discovery call. This call is an opportunity to discuss your goals, identify key challenges, and learn how my mentorship program can help you achieve the success you're aiming for. In just a half hour, we'll explore how you can scale your business by enhancing your authority strategy, engagement strategy, and retention strategy. You'll get personalized advice and a clear path forward. Ready to take the first step? Click on the link below that's in the show notes to book your free discovery call now. I hope to talk to you soon.